Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. There's something about that fantasy of flying a capital ship that just hits different. Not a fighter, not a corvette, but a true warship. Bridges, hangars and turrets under your command, where you feel the weight of every maneuver. A lot of games that you command them from afar, but this list is about the real deal, games where you take the helm and actually fly capital ships yourself. And as a bonus, we'll start with the future, because Starship Simulator is shaping up to be the most ambitious take on this fantasy yet. It's still in development, but the vision is clear, a fully explorable starship where every deck, console and system matters. You'll be able to walk the corridors, manage the crew and then slip into the captain's chair to pilot the whole thing yourself. It's the ultimate expression of the capital ship dream, but while we wait, let's dive into some others. I'm really excited to hear your suggestions in the comments below. There were some that I cut, so I'm going to be interested to see if you can mention them. A quick note on the criteria here. So I considered Nebula's Fleet Command and Battlefleet Gothic as their fantastic tactical experiences. However, you're commanding ships, not piloting them directly. I thought about Nexus to Jupiter incident, but it falls into the same category, closer to an RTS. Elite Dangerous gives you some massive ships like the Cutter and Anaconda, but they're still oversized fighters, not true capital ships. And then there's the older title Independence War 2, but it's more of a heavy corvette than a capital ship. The only game I was a little bit unsure about was EVE Online. Now I know you don't fly directly inside the ship, you do control it, and I also haven't played EVE Online, so this time it just didn't make the cut, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts below. Hey, I've name dropped all these games so you can go and check them out because that's what we do here at LT Gaming. Now let's dive in. You know that feeling when Minecraft, a Freelancer and a space opera all had a baby and decided to build ships? That's Avorion. I almost wanted to sing then, that's Amore, but hey, I don't know, maybe that's Avorion. Okay, I'll never do that again. It's a procedurally driven, voxel-based space sandbox where you start small, but the real thrill is building massive ships out of scalable blocks. Whether you're mining, trading, exploring, or dogfighting through asteroid fields and nebulas, everything you do serves one eventual goal, stepping into the pilot seat of your own colossal capital ship. The real magic in Avorion kicks in when you take the helm of your creation. These ships aren't nimble starfighters, they're lumbering behemoths with turrets, hangars, and energy demands that make you think twice before setting off. You can control them directly, just you steering your flying fortress across the stars. If you're after a legit capital ship experience under the strict pilot it yourself rule, Avorion delivers block by block, you build it and you fly it. And overall, even away from the capital ship element, this is a really underrated gem you have to check out. Empyrion Galactic Survival is what you'd get if No Man's Sky and Minecraft had a survival-focused space cousin. You start by crash landing on alien worlds, gathering food, oxygen and resources, but the real payoff comes later, designing and constructing massive capital vessels. These aren't background set pieces or abstract real-time strategy units, they're ships you physically build, customize, and then fly across planets and star systems. Once you've got a capital vessel in your hands, the scale becomes clear. There are heavy, lumbering giants that can carry hangars, turrets, and warp drives, and piloting one feels completely different to a small fighter or shuttle. In single or multiplayer, it's the ultimate progression here, the moment you stop scraping by on the surface and start commanding a true flying fortress of your own. Now I noticed that this particular title had taken a bit of a dive in the Steam ratings recently down to mixed, and when I did a little bit of a deeper dive I saw that there is some grumbles with the developer. I'm not quite sure what the exact issue is because I always had a good time with this title. It's very ambitious and perhaps quite buggy, but hey, overall it's one that people seem to either like or loathe. Space Engineers is a sandbox built on pure ambition, based in space, but with engineering, construction, exploration and survival baked firmly into the mix. You're given an open playground, build spaceships, planetary bases, outposts, whatever your robotic heart desires, then hop in and fly them. The game's volumetric physics engine ensures that everything you construct has real mass, inertia and destructibility, offering a tactile hands-on building experience that few games can match. Where it earns our spot in our capital ship list is when you pilot your creations. Those massive ships and stations aren't abstract, you sit at the controls and move them yourself. Maneuvering a giant warship or multi-block carrier, especially in multiplayer, is a rush. It's heavy, unglamorous and precise. You don't just command a capital ship, you physically fly it, and that's the purest form of the helm-only fantasy. And of course, if you're into early access, there is Space Engineers 2, but it's very early on that one, I will warn you. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. Rebel Galaxy is a rollicking space western styled adventure that puts you in command of a massive star destroyer from the very beginning. You're not piloting a nimble fighter, it's all about slow, satisfying movement, broadsides, massive turrets, and the swagger of commanding a flying fortress. The way the controls and pacing are built, it feels more like steering a colossal gunship than clicking through an RTS interface. While you can set some light orders of your turrets like focusing fire or prioritizing targets, the core of the game is always you at the wheel. Just real-time piloting with the weight and firepower of a capital ship under your control. It's slower than a fighter sim, but that's the point. You're the one turning the tide with broadside cannons and sheer presence. This one's a little bit older, but it's a hidden gem. Star Citizen is probably the most ambitious capital ship fantasy ever attempted. The game is hugely divisive, and of course I am wary about putting it on lists when it's not really a finished product, but I couldn't make this list and not include it. I've played a lot of Star Citizen around a year ago, I got fed up with it, my patience ran out, and I guess yours could also. So do approach this title with caution and your eyes wide open as to its current state. Even in its ongoing alpha state, you can already step aboard ships like the Carrack, Caterpillar, Hammerhead, or the luxurious 890 Jump, walk the corridors and then take the helm to fly them yourself. I actually had the pleasure of flying and playing in the 890 Jump once, it was pretty cool. These aren't just oversized fighters, they're fully modelled multi-deck starships that feel like living environments as much as vehicles. The real excitement is in the true capital class vessels. The Idris frigate, for example, a multi-crew warship hundreds of meters long, has already shown up in limited events and gives a glimpse of what's coming. It's a ship that needs a crew, from turret gunners to pilots launching from its hangars. While the largest ships are still in development, what's already playable makes Star Citizen unlike anything else. You're not just flying a ship, you're living inside it. But hey, I know it's a controversial pick, it has to be here. Let me know in the comments below. Imagine a game where Mount and Blade meets space exploration. Starsector captures that vibe perfectly in a deep top-down sandbox. And I was forced to put Star Citizen on this list, so I imagine Starsector is going to win me back the good favour of the people. I guess when I make these type of lists, I just have to take a neutral stance, so do remember that. You build a fleet, trade, raid, and upgrade your ships, but when battle breaks out, you don't sit back, you jump into the pilot seat. You fly in real time with WASD controls, aiming, firing, shielding, and managing flux yourself, down to the smallest fighter or the slowest dreadnought. It's rare to have that sense of direct hands-on command across ship classes in a game that's also heavy on RPG and economic systems. What makes Starsector qualify under our strict helm-only rule is exactly that. Every ship you pilot, including capital class cruisers and battleships, reacts to your direct input. You're not clicking on a tactical map or issuing abstract orders, you're steering, venting heat, choosing weapons, and literally flying the ship through the chaos of battle. The top-down view may lack a bridge camera, but your hands control every twist, turn, and broadside, even when your ship you're flying is hundreds of meters long. This one is not available on Steam, so I'll leave a link to the game's website in the description below. X4 Foundations is a space sim that lets you start as a lone pilot in a tiny fighter and grow into the commander of your own sprawling space empire. You can walk aboard your ship, step into the bridge, and actually fly every vessel on your own, from nimble scouts up to massive carriers and dreadnoughts. The gameplay loops seamlessly from cockpit to strategy. You can manually fly, upgrade, and even transfer control to AI and larger ships while you slip into something smaller for a scouting run. What earns X4 a spot on our strict capital ship list is that every step of your progression keeps you at the controls. You're always the pilot, whether you're manning a fighter or commanding a kilometer-long capital ship. That direct hands-on helm control, combined with full simulation of trade, fleet movement, and station building, makes X4 Foundations both immersive and endlessly rewarding for anyone craving the true capital ship experience. If you're interested in X4 Foundations, make sure to check out our other recent videos on the topic. Some games age out, but Star Trek Bridge Commander still stands tall as one of the definitive capital ship sims. Available now on GOG, this early 2000s gem puts you right in the captain's chair of Federation starships like the Galaxy and Sovereign classes. Combat plays out with the deliberate pacing you'd expect from Trek, balancing shields, phasers, and torpedoes while physically steering these giant ships through battle. It's slower, tactical, and immersive in a way few modern games even attempt. Now, of course, a shout out to Klingon Academy here as well. It's just not very easy to get your hands on that title these days. Mods like Remastered and Legacy overhaul the visuals, add countless ships and factions, and breathe new life into the experience. I have some older videos featuring those, I'll link those in the description below also if you want to check them out. For Trekkies, it's still the closest you'll come to commanding the Enterprise yourself, complete with that bridge level immersion. And if you're into VR, there's even a spiritual follow-up in Star Trek Bridge Crew where you and your friends can take stations aboard a starship, helm included, for a more modern spin. I've probably mentioned way more than 8 games on this list, but that's what we do here at LT Gaming, and I'll catch you on the next one.